how's it going out there, Lions of Liberty Nation? This is Beyond the Lines, the podcast for Lions of Liberty. We're a 501c3 charity. We're out here giving fishing adventures and boating adventures and outdoor adventures to our veterans and first responders to help relieve the everyday stress, promote positive mental health, and maybe put a dent in a little bit of that PTSD. Tonight we got something big going on. As you can tell, we're a little down on the technology. One of our guys is traveling overseas. The other two are busy as heck. So it's my personal honor to introduce you to one of the backbone pieces to Lions of Liberty. It's the one, the only Teresa Carity, the love of my life, soon to be my wife, all that good stuff. So tonight we're going to talk about For the Love of Fishing, right? First of all, hi Teresa.
Hi Michael.
This is your first podcast with us, right?
That's correct, yes.
It's fantastic. This is something you love doing, is getting on the camera and talking it up, right?
I love fishing. And I love supporting the charity. So yes, I will be here to support in whatever way I can.
Listen, love and support is what it's all about, folks. I think tonight we'll get into a little bit of the mental health side because I think it's an opportunity here, right? The schedules didn't match up and everything, so I think we're just going to take advantage of it, right?
Sure.
And talk about maybe a little bit about our journey to fishing and then how that came together and how does this work now? Because, you know, some people are like, you go fishing with the wife and don't you try to, sit back and relax and we're just going to jump into it and see where this wild, wild train goes.
Absolutely.
For those of you who don't know, I met Teresa back in April of 2023. Mm-hmm. It's now March of 2025, and she hasn't killed me yet. She still puts
and vice versa.
No. Look, when we talk about fishing, I know you've heard the guys talk about it, the veterans, the first responders, and they're always like, well, you know, and it did. For us, it started as somewhere peaceful to go, and we found, me and Gene especially found that was a great release for PTSD. Scott loves the serenity of it all. He loves being in touch with nature. Mm-hmm. Chad is a borderline alcoholic fisherman, and I don't mean for the booze. I mean he's a fishaholic.
Yes. Yes.
So we all have our reasons to be out there, and so I'm always intrigued when I have a new guest is to talk about what's your journey to come to fishing. Like how does this happen, right?
Right. Well, for me, I grew up in western upstate New York, and I was surrounded by the Finger Lakes. So when I was younger, we used to go fishing on the lakes all the time. My dad had a boat, and my uncle had a boat, so we would go fishing often, usually on the weekends. And it really got to be able to learn that the tranquility that just comes from sitting and listening to the water, and you know, there doesn't have to be a lot of noise, a lot of commotion. It's just very peaceful out there, and I really fell in love with it at an early age and enjoyed fishing for many years. Then I kind of
Life happened.
Children happened, right. Babies, work, all those things. So for a long time, I wasn't able to go fishing. And when I moved down here, I remember driving over the causeway near Clearwater and looking at the beautiful blue water and just wishing I could be out there all the time. And so when I met you and we started going out on the boat and going fishing, it brought back all those memories from when I was so much younger and really put a peace and tranquility in my life that I haven't had for a very long time. So I'm very grateful that you actually do like to fish. And in the group of members in the organization, how wonderful everyone is and supportive, and you know, they just really try to extend themselves to all the veterans and first responders, and and really genuinely want to help them and be there for them. And the difference that it makes, I mean, you know, multiple times we've gone out on the boat and either Jean or a few times you've had other people out there, veterans that have wanted to go fishing. And it's been really great. I mean, just they're so relaxed after a day on the water and fishing. And it just, they're very grateful. They're grateful for the opportunity.
If it helps us get out of our heads, then it must help somebody else, right? And that was the whole mission here, was to say, listen, we got to share this tool, you know, with the world, and to find a partner. You know, I want to really lean into this kind of heavy, right? Because I don't think enough people talk about it, right? We're going to call it For the Love of Fishing, and or you could call it Love and Fishing, right? Because there's an old school of thought where the women go off to be women and the men go off to be men. And maybe there's a time and a season in a relationship for that. Maybe when you're younger and there's kids and there's uber responsibilities and you need to find that identity thing again. Like, oh man, am I just dad? Am I just mom? Am I just husband? Am I just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I can see that, but you know, we had the pleasure of meeting after we did that part of life, right?
Right, yes.
And so now it's funny because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I answer this question all the time. They're like, well, who do you want to, you know, hey, we got a fishing trip, who's going? I'm like, well, Teresa's going. That's who I want to go fishing with. And some of the younger guys are like, oh, you're bringing the wife? Like, we're trying to, huh? Or I'm sure the ladies are like, what do you mean you're going to go fishing instead of go shopping today, right?
Right.
Like, you know, it's cool to find a common ground when the kids are gone and there's not those responsibilities, right?
Right.
Then your options are go visit the wild kids' homes and all that, or be home alone, and then what? Then do what? Well, I have my best friend with me now 24/7.
Right.
And who else do I want to go fishing with?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's for sure. No, I agree. And, you know, it's very nice that many of our friends, our close, dear friends and family, love to go fishing too. And so it's really an opportunity for us to bond and be out on the water and fish. There may be a little competition here and there.
What are you talking about,
I'm
Teresa?
just saying there could be, you know, like there's certain friends that like to catch certain fish. I mean, we all know Jingle. She's the queen of hogfish. She catches them all. Although last time Jen did catch some pretty good keeper size.
Yeah, Jingles wasn't there.
Jingles wasn't there. That's true. That's true. But all of us, I mean, I'm kind of the gag grouper queen. I like to catch the...
You have been uber fortunate with the gag grouper. I would have to agree.
Yeah.
There's
So I have a few of those under my belt, but at any rate, it's fun. It's a bunch of friends lifting each other up, I would say, and supporting as many veterans and first responders as we can to try to get them some relief. And not only does it help to be on the water, but when you're helping others, that really does, you know, lift your mind and your spirit, and it's just a very peaceful place to be.
Well, and we couldn't do it without the support of our loved ones, right? Like,
absolutely.
A lot of people want to do charity or play charity, right? And I don't think they really understand. Like,
it's a labor of love.
Yeah,
for sure.
All of us have full-time jobs, right? And so that means to get this charity rolling, you have to record a podcast once a week. You need to be doing email campaigns. You need to be fundraising. You need to be seeing what the events are coming up. Oh, I'm sorry. We haven't even mentioned scheduling the fishing trips and getting out fishing.
Right.
And,
Yes.
you know, if you think about that, that would take a lot of time away from a couple, right?
Sure.
And I don't think this works if Jean doesn't have Jingles and Scott doesn't have Jen and I have you,
Right.
because not only is it a labor of love, it's something that we all love to do. And when you find a partner that can do your passion with you, man, you better hold on tight.
Right,
Because
exactly.
it'd be very easy to get envious of each other, right? Like, well, he's always out doing this and she's always doing that and doesn't really include me. And then that's how people grow apart.
Right.
Of course, the relationship challenge of all challenges would be what? The couples at the boat ramp.
Well, now that is, that's some entertainment right there, is when you watch, what's the name of that? The one that we watch a lot.
Oh, the guy that does the chit show.
The Chit Show. Oh
The
my
chit show.
goodness.
Welcome to the chit show.
That is definitely entertainment.
Relationship tester.
Yeah.
If you think
For
your
sure.
relationship is strong, look at my eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Husband and wife, tag teaming, backing the boat into the boat ramp. Tempers do flare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or backing it into a parking space.
It's true. But then you always have a strong lady by your side just in case you're not able to do it.
For those of you who don't know, I was born without the backup gene. Thank you, Father. And I've had to really learn on the fly because Teresa does have the backup gene and has offered to do it on multiple occasions, and my ego hasn't allowed it. She's been very patient and very guidey, though. Scott and Jen don't have that problem. Scott's an excellent backer-upper. Jen's willing to point and direct, and she has no desire to back that damn thing up at all.
Yep.
Jingles and Jean, on the other hand, I don't think it makes a difference who's behind the wheel. Those two can back, I mean, a 35-foot boat, like, without even blinking.
Jingles is a beast. I saw her back up that boat. And it was crowded. It was a very crowded.
People were tight.
Was it,
That was at the Anklet boat ramp.
Anklet boat ramp. And I don't really think that I would have had the nerve to do that, but she certainly did, and she backed that 35-foot boat up right down the boat ramp and perfectly. And I was pretty impressed, I got to tell you. I said she's boss for sure.
Relationship tester. The old boat ramp.
That's it.
I tell you what.
That is it. But there's a lot of opportunities for relationship testing and also relationship growing, because when you get on the water, something special happens and you feel that closeness and the connection. And when it's just us out there together, we just connect, and we might not talk the whole time, but we're definitely connecting and enjoying the peace and quiet, and of course all the yelling when I get the big fish. And then sometimes you get a fish. No.
Wow.
Just
That's
kidding.
a lot of shade. It's also kind of true.
No.
It's kind of true. It's you seem
You seem to pull in the redfish pretty darn
the
good.
redfish, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you catch some real whoppers, and I'm pretty impressed by that.
It's very kind of you to give a little bit like that. That's
I mean,
relationship lessons right here. You see, you can talk the trash, but then you just throw in a little bit of flattery, and then everything's great because guys are just like, oh, I thought them.
It's not a gag grouper, but it's a redfish.
It's not a gag grouper. Oh Lord. And we kind of fall into roles on the boat too, like we do in life and relationships, right?
We do, yeah. I'm a good first mate, I think.
You're a great first mate. Teresa can drive the hell out the boat if she needs to. She can net a fish like a champ. Not so great with the live bait. That's my job, putting the live bait on the hooks. You're getting there though. I saw you do some shrimp the other day.
I could do some shrimp.
Right, but they're too wiggly. Teresa's not about it.
Well, sometimes the select shrimp are pretty darn big.
They are pretty
big.
And
they just kind of jump all over the place. Actually, the bigger ones are a little easier to handle than the small ones. The small ones really get away from me. But I'm learning as I go.
Yeah. And you're right, man. That bond is, because honestly, if I'm catching a really big fish or having a really neat experience, the first person I want to call and tell about it is you anyway. So
I might as well be there.
You may as well be right there, and I'm going to tell any stories. And I can't tell any stories if she's right there. That fish was this. It was this big. It was right. So the other thing I think really helps you and me out personally is their serenity of the ocean. I'm going to steal a phrase from Scott, right? He says the serenity of being out in this nature thing. I work from home. I talk to people all day. I'm a project manager. You are in the public, in the line of fire all day as a director of nursing, right?
Yes.
Your people have to report to you, patients, you name it. When you come home, the phone never stops. There's the schedule stuff, right? And there's something about, technically, are we in cell range sometimes? Sure. But it's like an unwritten, man. You get to that boat, and when there's water underneath you, it literally feels like you've just disconnected,
Yes,
right?
it does.
And that's like the first stage. Okay, we got to the marina, we got the boat in the water, and we just cleared the channel, and you feel exhale number one, right? And then you get through the, idle only, and you coming up, and you put that throttle down for the first time, and the wind is so loud that you can't hear anything, and it's just facing the sun, wind in the hair,
Yes.
whatever. But, and that's the other big exhale. And then the last one is, hey, we found a spot. Let's get the bait on there.
And we're out of cell range.
And we're out of cell range.
Love it.
Drop one in, and then boom, it's like jelly all of a sudden. Okay, now we're good. Now the world kind of fell off of us, and now we can just enjoy the company of each other and
Right.
hopefully a few temporary passengers and some large fish.
Yes.
But boating can be a challenge too.
There are times when it's really windy, for sure. That can be an issue when there's a lot of rain. Lightning, we have to get off the water if there's any lightning, because that is way too scary.
You're being way too sweet. I'm saying sometimes your captain will get you in some waters that aren't all that conducive to the boat to continue to travel.
Oh, like shallow.
Like sometimes
Shallow
you can get a
water.
little shallow, and you're so focused on just getting out. And for those of you who don't know, the Tampa Bay is very shallow. And at negative tides, you need to be really careful
That you don't get stuck.
that you don't get stuck. Because if you do get stuck and you're the heaviest person on the boat, you might have to get down to your skivvies and jump in and push.
And if you're really stuck, both of you might have to get out and push.
Yeah.
So that also has happened.
Yeah, there's a story there. We've had to push a couple of times because that redfish hole is just over the neck. If we can get through the skinny part, there's a little dip off there, and if we can. And the boat drafts like 6 inches, so it's really the captain's fault if I'm honest. But that can be challenging, right?
It can be.
We did our first scalloping this in 2024 toward the end there. Was that your first time scalloping?
Second.
That was your second scalloping?
Yeah.
Our first one together.
No? Second?
Well, I don't count the first time when we failed miserably.
I think Scott got like 6 scallops. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't
that's
count
not a fail.
Scott.
That's not a
Listen,
fail.
were we successful? That was the point.
Oh, okay. So 1 to 2.
So we learned to scallop together, right? Which is another cool thing about boating and fishing is and doing that as a couple, right?
The different seasons.
As long as the weather handles you going out, then there's just so much to explore. We can put on some fins and dive for scallops and do some snorkeling. You can, if we got really advanced into it, you could put on a wetsuit, go down and shoot fish with a spear gun, for that matter, and off of wrecks and stuff. And besides just the rod and reel, like we love and do all the time, there's always some new adventure, some new place to check out, some new technique to try. Well, we went for the pompano that one time with Scott.
Yeah, down to Clearwater. Yes.
Yeah, and we never had tried that wacky rig with the little teaser on it, where you just they call it a pompano rig. We're chasing pompano, right?
Right. But that was nice. That was something.
It was new. It was a different kind of fishing,
right? It was definitely different. We had never done that before, and the 4 of us went down there looking for pompano, and we definitely saw quite a few.
We caught a ton of whiting.
Right? It's true.
And
It's
a couple of
true.
trout, but
Yeah.
no pompano.
Well, they're waiting for us.
They're out there somewhere.
They're getting bigger. They're growing and getting bigger and waiting for us. So
That's what I believe. And they do have tails, so you never know how they're going to be, I suppose.
it's true.
No, but we have fish story after fish story. I never forget. So Teresa's fiercely independent, right? She'll let you wait on her a little bit, but like you got in the mood to tie your own rig once, right?
Oh yeah, I wanted to learn a little bit about tying rigs.
For the deep drop, we taught you the chicken rig, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Do you remember Captain Gino gave me the hardest time? He's like, look at that chicken rig.
Too short.
It's too short. What are you doing? And I said, what do you mean? I tied it myself. And he's like, yeah, that's why. But I kept that chicken rig. And lo and behold, you guys, when I had to step away for a minute, but on that chicken rig was the biggest, what was it?
It's an ARS.
It was American red snapper in season. Huge fish.
Yeah.
And everybody
30, easy 30.
No, I think it was bigger than that.
Maybe.
Well, we have the pictures.
Yeah, we do.
So that fish was absolutely huge, and caught that on my too short chicken rig.
Yeah, chicken rig that just it's too short, it won't work.
But we caught. Didn't I catch that?
Yep, go ahead. Yes, you did.
What was it called?
This is like trips later. Same chicken rig tail on the same one.
Because it did last.
You caught two more. I don't think you realize this. You caught one of those massive gags. You caught on that same chicken rig.
I did.
That was with your favorite bait, which is a
Shrimp.
pinfish.
Oh, a pinfish.
You're the pinfish girl.
That's true. So a pinfish that was out deep.
That was out deep for the gag, but you had a little tiny shrimp on that too short chicken rig.
Right.
And a fish that I thought was going to end Teresa's day.
Oh my gosh. It was like my whole reel went.
It was out of season, but it would have been legally kept. It means it had to be, I think, 36, right, to keep those?
I don't know.
I have to look it up.
It took me for a ride for sure.
Amberjack, by the way.
Yeah, it was an amberjack.
And
that was my first one on my too short chicken rig. So I was very proud of that.
So now we get to look in the camera and say, Captain Gino.
Captain Gino.
One of the biggest ARSs, one of her biggest gags, and her PB amberjack.
Yeah.
All on that too short chicken rig.
I think I want to tie another one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
On before our next trip out.
You can tie the next one?
Yep.
All right.
See if we can't wrangle up some more. For sure.
No, listen, fishing has been a really important part of my life. I learned it growing up. And my father and grandfather taught us how to fly fish. That was really important.
Yep.
In the streams of western New York there. My dad was a good bass fisherman. We learned a lot of that. Rainbow trout in the streams. There was salmon back in the day when they used to stock salmon. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like the same story as you. I kind of lost touch with it. I did a little bit of hunting when I lived around the world, but never could get back into the fishing. And I always knew it was missing. But
right.
When I got here to Florida, I was bound and determined to get back to it.
Yes.
And it's probably saved my life. You know, I went through some crazy stuff in 2020, and having this outlet of fishing and stuff has been amazing. And it just it touches so many different parts of life. Like, remember the event we did when we went down to the seawall for that kids event?
Yes.
And just tying up their rigs and counting their points when they
such a
caught
difference.
pinfish and
Sure.
stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that was the best thing in the world. Little toadfish, little pinfish, little this, little that. And somebody donated all kinds of gear, and we got to give bikes away and help the kids all day and just put smiles on the faces.
Yes.
I mean, fishing to me can touch just every part of life. Like, part of my funnest things that we do is when you get someone who's never been fishing before and they catch that first fish. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
And God forbid it's a kid.
Right.
Right? Like, it's
Yeah.
cool ugh when a grown adult
Because they're just
loses
like,
their
they're like,
stuff,
oh
right?
my gosh,
But when
I
that little
can't.
kid gets on their first
Yes.
fish, oh my my God, it's the greatest feeling to know that you helped do that and
Right.
how much fun they're having. It's just pure, pure joy to watch them go
Yes.
through that.
Absolutely.
You know what else is pure, pure joy? Getting to spend every day on the water I can with you, love.
Oh,
I really
you.
appreciate the support.
I feel the same. I feel the same. And, you know, for us and so many of our closest friends, we really enjoy the time that we spend, and helping others is such a joy for us as well. So there's no place I'd rather be in my life right now.
That's fantastic. Well, folks, we're not going to drag this one on too long tonight. As you can tell, we're a little bit low tech this evening, and we don't have the slideshows and all the fancy stuff, but we promised a podcast every week, so we're going to deliver. Thank you, Teresa, for coming and hanging out tonight.
Thank you.
It means a lot. We got to tell our story, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Watch this video through. It helps the algorithm. Check out all our other socials. The more you hit our other socials and subscribe and like and all that jazz, it just helps so much to raise awareness and get the message out there.
And invite your friends to like as well.
Yes.
So
Ooh,
you can
girl.
always, well, you know what?
Yeah,
There's
Teresa.
a few times that I've talked to people and they're just like, oh, I really want to learn more about, you know, Lines of Liberty. And so I'm like, I invited them to like and follow. And
Listen,
so
we're on all the socials,
Mm-hmm.
so tell a friend to follow us, whether it's this YouTube channel that you're watching this on, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. We have a website. It's linesofliberty.org. Go there, sign up for the newsletter. We send out a monthly newsletter.
Yes.
I just sent it out last night for February. So that's what we need, folks. And there's a little donate now button on the website, folks. We are a charity. Every dollar counts. Every submission counts. It's going to go, and it's going to take people fishing, and you're going to see the evidence of it here, right, on the channels, right? We're going to start
Absolutely.
posting more videos of the actual trips
Yes.
we take to go along with this podcast. You'll see it in our shorts. We do YouTube shorts,
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, so you'll see them there. So you can see the fruits of your labor or the fruits of whatever you decide to donate into us. But I think we'll wrap it up for tonight. So until the next time, make sure you take care of each other out there. Call someone, give somebody a hug, tell them you love them, and just keep taking care of each other. Thank you to everybody from Lines of
thank
Liberty.
you.